Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Clap, clap, clappity clap, clap, clap. Yes, hey. So, guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all my new listeners, new episodes drop every Thursday. I usually talk about my life, my interests, and the ways I'm trying to grow. So come on back through, you feel me? And for all of my day 1, 7, 68, 155, whatever week y'all came in and decided that you wanted to keep on rocking with your girl, I appreciate it. Oh, what a life I am living, y'all. Man. And it's so crazy because there's something I really want to talk about, but I just I can't because I don't be knowing who be listening to this, and yeah, but I will just say that, man, life is very interesting, and I will say this, actually I won't say that either. So yeah, guys, life is very interesting. I will just say it's so funny. I am usually not, no, that's a lie. Sometimes I'm vague on here. I wish I knew who listened to this show. And it's not like I have to be talking about my life like that, but at the same time, I know that my transparency helps people sometimes. It's relatable to whatever. So how can I talk about this vaguely without really putting stuff out there? Okay, this is what I'll say. You know, sometimes, man, it is like situations or interactions in life will happen that will have you really just thinking okay, this is the perfect way to talk about this, but not talk about it, but kind of. Okay, so yeah, like interacting with people, be it a coworker, be it I'm in, like, I serve on the creative team at my church, so I mean that's ministry. Side note, one thing about ministry is, like, ministry will have you, or work even too, will have you friends with people of like so many different age ranges or whatever. And it's so funny because some of the people that I serve with on the creative team, they like literally could be my kids. They're like my kids' ages, but because they're not my kids, I don't know. It's like I don't view them as they could be my kids until I find out how old they are, and I'm like, oh, you literally could be my child. So that's one interesting thing about ministry. What I love about the creative team is, I mean, I serve every Sunday. We have two, like, there's church at 9 and 11, and so I always sit in one depending on how they schedule me, but I will serve every Sunday. We don't have Saturday church anymore because I used to serve every Saturday. And so I get to serve with and interact with a lot of different people, and but interacting with people and like building closer relationships with people, it really shows you like what's in your heart, like how you respond to what people do, or maybe even what they don't do. Let's say you have some unspoken expectation, which I highly frown upon unspoken expectations, because how is somebody going to meet something that you didn't tell them? But sometimes even I will just have this, oh, I wish this would have happened, and then it didn't, and then I'm disappointed. And it's kind of like when you interact with people on a more consistent basis, because those of y'all that like have been listening for years, that's crazy. We finna come up on 4 years. That's crazy. But like the last 2 years, my whole work situation has been so interesting, where I left my 9 to 5 in the social work field 2 years ago, started the consulting agency, and then do subcontracting work. So it's like a lot of just me and my client, not really like coworkers, but then like serving on the creative team is where I kind of get that like work family, but it's church family, but whatever, like that environment where I'm like around the same people every week, sometimes multiple days in a week, depending on what's going on. And so it's really interesting because, and there are people that I have closer relationships than others, or people that I interact with more than others. And it's really interesting how people just really become like a part of your life. And I don't know, that's always just such an interesting thing to me, like how it could go from like somebody you didn't even really know well at all or at all, to then they become like this important person in your life. And that's always just such an interesting thing, which none of y'all that are like OG listeners should know. I mean, should be surprised that I'm like super reflective on every little thing, because that's just me. And so there's just, I don't know, there's just things going on in my mind and heart right now that's just really interesting. But here's a cool thing though. Okay, so side note, the creative team went to Vala's pumpkin patch on Thursday, about a week ago at the time of this episode dropping. Not at the time of this recording. Shout out to 12 Kyle. But at the time of this episode dropping, it'll be a week ago, because we went on Thursday. And I had never been, which if you live in my city, but anyways, if you live in my city, people are like shocked that I've never been to Vala's, and my kids have been, and even my kids, well, the girls were like, "You've never been?" No. Well, how did we go? Because you went with this person or that person, or whatever. And so this was my first time going, and man, it was so fun. Shout out to my bestie. He probably don't even listen to this show, but if he happens to hear this, he knows who he is. But he knew that I had never been to Vala's, and so me, him, and somebody else on the team pretty much were together the whole time, and like he made sure like, oh, this is where this is, or showed me this, showed me that. And man, I had so much fun. And what's crazy, because whenever anything happens in life, I always reflect on it. And I was just really thinking about how there's been so much stress. I can't even think back how far the stress has gone. Just this looming, like, stressing about this, stressing about finances, stressing about something with one of the kids or whatever. Like, there's just been stress. And that was the first day in I don't know how long where I literally just had fun. Like, there was this like jumping. It was almost like a trampoline thing, but it wasn't quite a trampoline. It was like a big old airbag. Yes, I was really up on that jumping. Me and the girl that was with us, I don't know why I never want to say names, and y'all shouldn't be surprised by that, but like she and I jumped on we'll just call it a trampoline. At the time of us going on, there were no other adults. There were like teenagers, although who knows, those could have been adults, because I mean technically adult is 18, but it looks, 18-year-olds look like babies to me because they could be my child. But anywho, so yes, jumped on that, fell a couple times. It's fine, had fun. They had these big slides, so I went down that a couple times. There was just like all these different attractions and all this stuff. And before all that, there was like some, I don't know, apple shooting thing where you put apples into this, like, I guess, gun type thing. I don't know. But did that. You already know I got good aim. No, that's not even funny. But anyways, so yeah, like, had so much fun. And then on Sunday, our church did kind of like it's Hallelujah night, so like just candy. It was a trunk or treat thing. There were, I want to say, I think like 45 trunks, plus they had some bounce houses. That's what they're called. Food trucks, so the people that came through could have food. They had donuts, they had cookies. But when I tell y'all, it was cold outside, but I still had fun. It was so cute seeing all the kids just with their little costumes or whatever, jumping in the bounce houses. I had the wrong shoes on though. It was these heel tennis shoes that, like, I don't even know what I was thinking, because I like really should have knew better, but they went better with my outfit than my other shoes. And so I sacrificed comfort to be cute. And I'm trying to tell y'all, once that expiration time hit on them shoes, I was walking very, very slow. And then at the end of the night, when I went in, because I was doing photography, and so then I had to edit my photos after that. So at the end of the night, when I went back in the building to edit my photos, I'm trying to tell y'all, I definitely took my shoes off. Because, ladies, you got to reset. So you got to, once the expiration time hits, you got to take off the shoes, reset so that your feet forget what just happened. And then by the time I was done editing, I was able to put my shoes back on to go outside. Rookie mistake, but not really, because like I said, those shoes went better. And it's really sad. I've actually been thinking about all the stuff I lost in my storage unit, like having to start all over, even with stuff like I had so many pairs of like cute boots. And like last fall, for whatever reason, I didn't care about that, but it's probably because like when I'm meeting with the kids, I don't know, it just depends on what's going on as to how I'm dressed or whatever. But I have to kind of like reestablish some things with as far as like fall boots and stuff. And so I've been thinking about that lately, and actually have been really, really sad about that. But it's fine, we can start all over, we can whatever. But yeah, I've just been really, really reflective on just life right now. Like I told y'all how me and my kids are like, parting ways. And so they're getting their own, well, like I said, Janae already moved out, but we're not going to be living together anymore. And when I tell you I have cried about that like a lot, it is, and that's probably normal. I'm sure other mothers or fathers or whatever have cried when their kids, went off to college or moved out or done whatever. But man, it's just weird. And I think for me, the biggest thing is, like I've said before, I've been a mom since I was 19, and I've never lived alone. That's the biggest thing. And while I won't be alone because Gizmo will be there, and while I am someone that can be alone, so I'm not someone who has to constantly be around people, at the same time, it's weird to think about having a house or apartment or townhome or whatever route I actually end up going that doesn't have a room for my kids. That's just weird, you know what I mean? But I mean, my kids are grown and it's time, so I get it. I'm not trying to hold them back from what they need to do and who they need to become and all that. But it's been just such an interesting season. There's just so many things, stirring in my heart based on either interactions with different people or just life circumstances and transition and whatever. And it's really interesting because I'm around more people than ever before because, like I said earlier, I have the community. So I am always around some sort of community. But it's so weird because I have felt more alone in the past few weeks than I have ever felt ever, which is weird because I am more in community than I have ever been. Like, I am around a lot of the same people a lot, and sometimes like see the same people several times within the same week, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's been really weird. And so with that, as I've thought about that, because I've heard things or seen things or whatever where people have said, like, you know, when you start feeling alone, it's because God is trying to draw you closer to him. And so that's kind of the revelation that I kind of got yesterday as I was struggling, as I was really thinking about how I just really feel very alone right now. And like, yeah, it's just really weird. I have just felt very alone, even though I am surrounded by a lot more people than I normally am. And so I've just really been trying to be a little more intentional with my time with the Lord. Like, okay, none of the, I don't want to say none of these relationships around me are satisfying, not me stuttering, but are satisfying, because that's not what I'm saying. All of the relationships in my life, the people that I invest in, or they make whatever investment in me, like, I'm not saying those relationships are not satisfying, but I'm just saying, like, there's like this void, and I'm trying to figure out what that void is, because it just feels like something is missing. And I mean, yeah, like I said, there's lots of transition happening in my life right now, but it's not that. But I haven't figured out what it is. And so in the meanwhile, what I've been trying to do is just dive deeper into my relationship with the Lord, because at the end of the day, like, that's the constant. Like, that's who's with me no matter what goes on. Like, let's say, me not going to be living with my kids anymore, God will still be there. You know what I mean? So, like, he's the constant. And maybe that, I don't know, maybe I just need to be even more intentional. Maybe I need to try different ways to, I don't know, invest in that relationship. Because in some ways, sometimes it can sometimes it's almost like this, like I was telling somebody, so we have our daily reading where we read the Bible, and there's like different books that are assigned to each day or whatever, which I've told y'all on here before that I read my Bible, and like I pray and stuff like that. Like, these are all the things that are a part of me being spiritually healthy, which, you know, I talk about that on here all the time, about the importance of being spiritually healthy. But like, I don't know, sometimes it feels like I'm just checking a box off, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let me do my daily reading. And I don't know if it's because of where we're at, because we've been in the Old Testament and the New Testament, but we've been in like we were in Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel, and these are like prophets in the Old Testament, and they're trying to like warn the people, like, hey man, y'all tripping, you need to get your, you know, heart in check. It's not even just about the behaviors that they were engaging in, it was about their heart posture as they were engaging in this behavior. And these prophets are like, hey man, y'all tripping, y'all putting everything and anything before God, da 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 da, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's what it is, or I don't know if it's just a me thing that I just need to, I don't know, maybe God is just drawing me to a deeper level of intimacy with him. I don't know. But what I do know is, like I said, it's been a weird few weeks, and I just really kind of got the revelation like the other day where I was just like, man, I feel very alone right now, and that's actually kind of weird because I'm actually around more people on a consistent basis than normal. So, okay, why do I feel alone? You know what I mean? And it's not like I don't have friends that I talk to or people I hang out with, or I don't have, I mean, I have that. I laugh, I'm doing things that have purpose and meaning. So like the things that are important to me are happening. Obviously we know, as I've said on here before, like there's this obviously desire to do life with someone and share my life with someone and all that soft, sappy stuff. It's so funny because I'm only that way when I talk about it to people, but like in my heart of hearts, I don't really feel like that stuff is like soft well, I mean, it is soft, but I don't feel like stuff like that is sappy. But it's just like talking about it to people. Anyways, yeah. So, I mean, there's that desire, and that desire has not been fulfilled. But I mean, like, I'm not gonna compromise. Like, the longer that I've been single, the more bruh. Somebody always calling. Like, every time I'm recording, if it's not somebody calling, it's Gizmo doing what he do. Anywho, so, yeah, I'm not gonna just, like, the longer that I've been single, the more that I'm learning about me as a person, and the more that I'm learning about me as a person is the more that I'm learning what would be best for me as far as compatibility and like what I would need and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like, and it's not like, let me clarify this. It's not like there's somebody that I'm aware of that is like saying, "Oh, I want to be with you," and I'm being picky. So it's not nothing like that. And I'm just saying, like I've told y'all where I've done the whole online dating, try to do that. It's been like a couple years since I tried that. That's just not me. I just know it has to be somebody that I already interact with you, and you already kind of know how I am. Like, I really want it to be somebody who just, they see how I act in like just normal circumstances of we're friends or something, to where you already know how I am, I already know how you are, I already know how like maybe you handle stress or disappointment or trials or whatever. Because as much stress and trials and stuff I've had in life, like these are the things I think about of when you're with someone. Yeah, it's about, romance, sharing your life with someone, the good stuff and all that. But then it's like you're going to go through real life stuff, and you got to have somebody that you go through this real life stuff with, that there's somebody that's like, it's a good match for like what you need, how you are, and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've really been thinking about that a lot lately, just because there's been a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? And so, that said, while yes, that's still a desire, it's not something that I'm just gonna just dive into just to say I have it. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, besides that little thing that obviously has not happened, everything else, I ain't even gonna say everything else is good, but I'm content. Like, I have really learned to be like content, but also thankful, grateful, like in any circumstance. And I'll get into the state of my life later. I don't really want to talk about it right now. And the only reason I don't want to talk about it, the only reason I don't want to talk about it right now is because I don't know who listens to this. And like 95% of y'all, I don't even care if you knew what was going on. But there are some people that I have not told what's going on in my life right now. And so therefore you're not about to hear it on this show, you know? So once we get to the point that I feel like I want to talk, because I want to talk about it with y'all, you know? Sometimes I wish I could, I don't even know, but it is what it is, because it's like this is a public thing, a public entity where anybody could listen to it. So yeah, but yeah, that is life. And I mean, I didn't really tell y'all much, but life is life. And there is so much stirring in my heart and mind right now. And I've just had to have a lot of conversation with the Lord lately, because at the end of the day, he knows the plans he has for me. He knows why these things are stirring in my heart. He knows what's gonna come from it, if anything. He knows everything. And so yeah, it's really just a season where I kind of talk to my friends somewhat about stuff, but it's been a lot more just talking to him about stuff, because at the end of the day, even if like I'm anxious about something, and I've said this before on here, but the circumstances don't change, when I talk to him about it, either I might have a different perspective on the situation, or if I don't have a different perspective, I might have just gotten out all of the anxiety or the frustration or whatever strong emotion I'm feeling. I may just get all of that out, so then I can be more at peace. Because if nothing else, what y'all should have understood about me, those that have been listening for a while, is that I'm an external processor. So I have to talk things out sometimes just to figure out how I feel about it. And so it's been a lot of that lately. It's been a lot of just conversations with the Lord, because there's stuff that, you know, I can't talk like, and I'm a pretty transparent person, but some stuff you just can't talk about transparently, because maybe the person that it involves, they don't know. And so then, you know, stuff like that. So I've just been talking to the Lord a lot lately, super prayerful, super whatever. And it's been such a freeing season. I think that's a good word to use it. But there's also so many unknowns, and it has been a very emotional, and in some ways, in some aspects of right now, it's been like overwhelming. There's been so many emotions, right? But at the end of the day, it's just important for me to make sure that I am, like I always say, because I'm about to end this, but it's important for me to make sure that I'm taking care of myself mentally and taking care of myself emotionally. And even if that just means venting to the Lord, then that's what I got to do. So that's my encouragement to y'all. As always, make sure you take care of yourself emotionally and mentally. Make sure you take care of yourself spiritually, whatever that looks like for you. You got to have a healthy spirit, right? Make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, and also make sure that you are taking care of yourself in your relationships. Be healthy in your relationships. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to me, kind of, sort of, a little bit, maybe not, talk about my life and the ways I'm trying to grow. It's really just a season though where I'm just trying to, I guess, dig deeper into my relationship with the Lord. I think that's where the focus needs to be. So thank you for tuning in. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for Tamara.